Hey all, TonyBing here. Hello and welcome back to another video for Marvel Strike Force. Now today we will look at another set of characters and the essential tier 4 upgrades for them. The last video we checked out the X-Men, had a lot of requests for the power armor characters for the next video, so that's the ones I will be covering today. Power armor and an absolutely awesome team. If you checked one of my previous videos, I was able to take on essentially every meta team in the game and actually beat them with it. When I've been playing with the power armor team in war as well, I've been able to punch up as high as 100,000 power higher than the team I'm actually running, so they're a completely amazing team. Now alongside the power armor characters, it's Falcon, Iron Man, Rescue and War Machine. I'll actually drop Vision into this video as well because I would say he is essential to make the most out of him. Now the first character we'll have a look at, it'll be Falcon. Falcon then is an absolutely awesome character, but he's one that I don't feel that he actually has any essential upgrades. If we quickly look at his skills here, so you've got his basic. Now at best, depending on the circumstances, if the enemy has an actual buff and if you're also in war, then you'll do an additional 50% damage. That's simply not worth spending your materials there. That's for the basic. You have his special, you'll only be gaining an additional 50 speed bar. The way it works in increments of up to 1,000. Now if there's 5 targets on screen and you cast Red Wing, then what happens is you'll get 750 speed bar at level 6, at level 7 you'll get 800 speed bar, just simply not worth upgrading. You then have the ultimate. This one was relatively close, but again I don't feel it's worthwhile upgrading at all. This one here, in the best situation really, you'll look at an additional 30% damage, and if you're going up against the enemy with a lot of buffs on them, the likes of Juggernaut, then you might do in the region of about 100% piercing. So this one was close, but due to the fact that it's war offense only and also you need specific targets, I would say you want to hold off and just keep this at level 6 as well. And then finally you have the Exo 7 wingsuit. The only difference between level 6 and 7 in this one is 5% block amount, so once again not worth it at all. So just as mentioned, awesome character, but one that you don't need to invest any tier 4 materials in, but that's not necessarily a bad thing either. So next up, let's have a look at Iron Man. Iron Man then is another character that you really don't have to go heavy on the tier 4 materials at all to make the most of them, so we'll run through his skills. The first one is the basic Repulsor Blast. This one here, you can get an additional 60% damage, which is nice, but this is only on the chain and he only has a 1 in 3 chance to chain, so for that reason keep this one at level 6. We then have Rocket Barrage, a really nice skill, but the difference on this is 20% unavoidable damage. If he's teamed up with Cap, then you get an additional 30% unavoidable damage. It's simply not enough to justify your tier 4 materials, so once again go for level 6. We then have Unibeam, so the damage jump in this one, it goes from 540 damage up to 600. This one's really tight because the Unibeam can be useful to whittle down single target characters that you maybe need to take down really quick with the power armor team. So at a push, once you've upgraded just about most of the other abilities, and this is one that I would say just about sneaks in here, so you want to take this one up to level 6, but make sure you prioritise the other ones we'll talk about in the video first. And then finally you have Stark upgrades. I would say this is worthwhile upgrading due to the high damage this team puts out. It gives an additional 5% crit chance for Iron Man and an actual 5% crit chance for tech allies, and all the allies in the power armor team are tech, so that extra 5% can really help out. So that's Iron Man. Next up, let's have a look at Rescue. Rescue then really is the glue that holds the power armor team together and really does take them to another level. Now the first skill we look at for her is Sonic Repulse, so this is really underwhelming. The only difference from level 6 to 7 is 20% damage, and she's not there to put out damage in the first instance, so definitely don't upgrade this one. We then have Tech Shield. Only difference here is 1000 barrier, which is just equivalent to 1000 health, so you definitely don't want to upgrade this one either. We then have the ultimate. This is called Firewall. The difference with this one is you'll go from clearing 4 negative effects from self and all allies to clearing all negative effects. Now 4 negative effects is actually really still pretty decent, although depending on the team you go up against, sometimes you can get a ton of negative effects actually applied to you. So this is one that I would say you want to upgrade, but again, like some of the other ones we've looked at already, this will be way further down the list, and I'll actually put a list of the rough upgrade order in the comments of this video as a pinned post, so you can check that out. Now the final ability anyway, this particular one is Stark Upgrade, which is a passive. The difference from level 4 to 5 is 500 barrier, which isn't worthwhile, but then your barrier is actually increased by 5% of your character's max health, whereas at level 4 it's only 5%, at level 5 it goes up to the full 10%. And also with this you can gain an additional 5% max health for rescue, and also 5% max health for power armor characters as well. So this is one that's definitely worth upgrading. So for rescue it would be the ultimate at a push, and then the passive as well. Now next character we look at is War Machine. First ability we look at here for War Machine then is Railgun. Now this one will hit primary targets and adjacent targets, but it's only an additional 20% damage you get for your tier 4 materials, so this isn't worthwhile upgrading at all, so just take it to level 6. We then have Missile System. I really like this skill. This one here at level 6 you'll do between 240 and 320% piercing damage if you're paired up with Iron Man. If you upgrade it to level 7 then you're guaranteed 360% piercing damage, so that's the equivalent of a guaranteed extra 120% piercing damage. So this one is definitely worthwhile, because you need to bear in mind that it's on primary and adjacent targets as well. We then have the ultimate, which is a great skill. The upgrade isn't that good on it at all, it's only 30% difference from level 6 to 7, so just keep this one at level 6. And then finally we have the passive, which is integrated targeting. So the difference with this one is an additional 10% crit damage for War Machine. That actually works really nice when he's paired up with Iron Man. An additional crit chance, you get an additional 10% damage in war, which can really help out a ton. And then the taunt when an enemy drops below 50% health goes from 50% up to 100%. Sometimes it can be a pain, to be honest, but the other bonuses you get in this make it worthwhile upgrading. So this is one that you want to take up to level 5. So that's all the power armor characters done. Let's check out the next character that isn't power armor, but he is vital to this team, and it's Vision. First upgrade we look at then for Vision is actually the only one I would say is worthwhile upgrading here. This is the basic heavy hitter. Now with this you'll get an additional 50% damage on your primary attack and to the targets you chain to, and it actually means that your chain moves from 2 characters up to 3, so you're doing that additional damage on them. But very importantly as well, you're applying a fence down, so at the start of a fight you can apply a fence down to 3 characters, and it really can help out an absolute ton. It can completely nullify some characters' ultimate attacks when you apply this on them. The next 3 abilities we have, as mentioned, we wouldn't upgrade them, but I'll quickly run over the reason why. You have the special, which is called Dive Bomb. The only difference is 20% damage, so that's not worthwhile. You have the ultimate, which is Solar Beam. The only difference is 30% damage, again not worthwhile. And then finally you have the passive Density Manipulation. The only difference there is 5% dodge, so again that's not worthwhile at all there. So that's all the essential upgrades I would say for the power armor team. I'll actually jump in now and I'll just quickly list them, but as mentioned within the comments of this video I'll actually pin a post that's got the rough order. You want to upgrade these as well. In total then, the number of upgrades you need for the power armor team to make them really kick ass is a lot lower than the X-Men team we looked at previously, and that's definitely a good thing. Now if we just quickly break down the characters, you've got Falcon, where none of his upgrades are actually essential for tier 4. You then have Iron Man, where you want to upgrade the ultimate and the passive. That'll give you the harder hitting unibeam and the additional crit chance for all your characters. You have Rescue with the ultimate for the additional cleanse, and then the passive that makes her barrier stronger. You have War Machine with the special with all that piercing. You have the passive that gives you the additional damage in war, and it's also giving you the additional crit damage. And then finally you have Vision for that chain that goes from 2 to 3, and it's guaranteeing the offense down as well once you get past a resistance check, of course. So that's all the upgrades there. Let me know in the comments below what team, if any, you would like me to cover next for tier 4 essentials, and thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you all again soon.